Rev up your engines! Well, as you can see, I had a little fire incident in the old garage here. So Scotty's garage is in dire need of repair. But I'm okay. My wife's okay. The Matrix is okay. I braved life and limb, ran into the garage, and backed it out of the way. My giant garden hose. It's good having metal shield water hose. And since the fire started here where the garbage cans were, it was working its way, that's all the garage, back to the house. So I started squirting the house like mad. I was squirting the house all over the place. And the fireman said I saved the house. The house got water damage, but it did not burn down because I kept hosing it down. By the time the fire department came, I'd already hosed it down towards the door. So you can see these shingles didn't get burnt, but those did. And then it worked its way all the way up in the rafters. Stupid plastic garbage cans. Somehow there must have been burning embers from leaves I had got with my lawnmower. I sucked up the leaves and I dumped them in there. Must have hit some of the rocks in the ground. Rocks everywhere in this New England soil. These are the main ones that I hit with a lawnmower sometimes. You can see it's chopped the top off of some of these. It must have made a spark that got in the bags. And them smoldered. And if it would have been metal garbage cans, they would have been metal with the top and it would have just sat there, but the plastic started melting and it went bananas. A bit of the plastic garbage cans that melted into the ground. Parts of them there. And as you can see, the fire just spread up to the rafters. Luckily, it only got a little in the crawl space up there and it didn't ignite the rest of the house because the firemen came and poured a ton of water in there, which saved everything. They did a great job. Now, I do have to say that these acoustic tiles that I had stuck up held up pretty good because they told me they were flame retardant. Check it out. You know, they got singed, but they didn't burn. There's some kind of fiber. These are sound deadening. So when they recorded, it didn't echo. You can see there's the ones that didn't get burnt, and that was the side of the wall that got burnt on the other side anyways. So not only did they not burn, but they probably insulated the fire from getting further in, because they made a giant mess on the outside, but the inside, they didn't even get singed there. Only the ones on the top got singed, and you can see anything's going to get singed up there because the flames are flying through there. You buy these top clean pieces of wood, right? Look, you probably saved them. They eventually fell down when the fireman squirted water, but you can see the rafters above got burned, but these little ones didn't because those tiles were insulated. So I gotta say, those are pretty good tiles. You can see up there, that one's got a dent in it, but that's because the fireman hit with an axe to see if there was a fire behind it. No, like I say, I'm okay, wife's okay, Kitty's okay. And don't worry about me, I'm not gonna have some GoFundMe to pay for it. I have insurance. I paid my entire life for the houses I've owned insurance. The people here are so friendly in Portsmouth. They've all come and got us food and stuff and were real friendly. The local diner gave us a free breakfast. I mean, hey, don't worry about it. It's just material. It's just a material possession that's going to be rebuilt. But just for inference sake, let's see if some of the stuff still works after going to the fire. All right, here's a fan. It's an old Jerry fan. Let's push the button. Off, on. Right? Ah! Look! Still works. Pretty good quality. I gotta say that the little LED even lights up. Look at that. Hey, the fan still works. Pretty quality fan. And look, it's still got full charge of battery too. I gotta say, pretty well made. It made it to the fire. Oh, Jerry fan. They're for camping and stuff. They got their own battery supply. And it worked quite well. Look at that! Now, since the power washer, you can see it's not really damaged. It was low down. You can see all the stuff in the low down. That just got water when the fireman came and poured everything in water. I'm sure that still works. Yeah. Works fine! It's like I said, I realized I was down on the bottom. The flames were all on the top, thank goodness. And indeed, I was a lucky man, because today the wind's blowing this way. The wind is blowing from the garage towards the house. On the day of the fire, the wind was blowing from the house to the garage. So luckily, the flames just went that way and up, and they only slowly went towards the house, which I could hose down with a hose, and that kept that from burning. That's just superficial there. You can see the cedar planks aren't even gone. Now, it broke some windows from the heat. It was so hot, right? And that's one reason. My head, especially this side of my head, is a little bit redder than normal. That's from the heat, hosing it down before the fire department came. Because it would have been today instead of yesterday, the wind is now blowing this way. It would have blown those flames that were torn the whole house down. So I was really lucky in that case. The wind was going the other way. It was blowing from the side of the garage out this way instead of from the side of the garage back towards the house. So I was really lucky when it comes down to that. Gigantic mess in the garage. It stinks. If you had smell-o-vision, you can even smell my jacket. It smells like smoke. Inside, which did get water damage, but these guys come fast. They got the filters, dehumidifiers going. There it is, dehumidifying. Filtering stuff. Now that's my dehumidifier. We always have Kesnos. It works really good. And when we go into my sunroom, luckily it wasn't damaged. The only thing that happened was it cracked the window. The heat cracked the window. Well, luckily it only cracked the small window. It didn't crack the big expensive ones because these were far enough away from the fire since I put that part out so it didn't burn over there, that these didn't get shattered. So we still got a nice view of the ocean there. Now they had to shut the power off because they were worried there might be an electrical short. So I hooked up my Blue Yeti here, hooked it to the control unit of it, and as you can see, I plugged it into the fridge. So we didn't lose any food. See the lights on, but in the meantime, this morning the electricians came and they checked all the wire and it said, it's okay. So they turned the power back on, and even though it's loud with all these dehumidifiers and filters going, you can see it's now 71 degrees in here, so the heater's working, hurrah! Because last night we didn't have any heat because we didn't have any electricity, and they turned the gas off for the gas heater. So sleeping bags, hey, of course they probably don't have a name on it. You know, I know how that goes. There it is, LL Bean. LL Bean, nice sleeping bags. I slept fine. My wife actually got too hot, but not me. We moved Kitty's food back in here. So, all of you wondering, there's Kitty. Peeps. Kitty is doing fine. She's thinking about going outside. Not sure it's loud, but hey, we'll go into the cellar. It doesn't have any flame damage, but water did come in. They got to change the carpet and stuff. Especially the garage now is over here. See, the garage is over here, so they had to rip up the carpet because the carpet got all wet and that I damaged it. You can see this still has water in it. They're gonna have to replace some of the electrical stuff. Here we're at my recording studio. Didn't damage that at all. There's my floating recording table with the camera on it, right? Didn't bother that. And luckily, once the electrician came, he checked everything out, did circuit tests. And the main outside, they take the meter off. He had to put the meter back on. He's a professional electrician, and they allowed them to have power again. If you want maybe a little funny story, okay? We're all gone. They said, well, the heat's working. I said, well, no, it's not. It's not blowing, right? So we came down here, as you can see, pretty new furnace anyways, but down on the bottom there's a little light over there. There, you see, that little light, it was blinking, and it wouldn't put out heat. Well, that's because for safety reasons, they turned the gas off, right? So they tested that and said, oh, there's nothing wrong with that because the fire was way over the other side of the house. And even though the furnace was trying to turn itself on, it wouldn't put on the heat because they turned it off. So we had the gas turned back on, and now the heater's working fine. And of course, the hot water heater, we have an electric one. You can see it's working fine now. I just took a shower. I was worried I was going to be dirty and grungy to film, but he's now draining down the sink. And even though I'm pinker than normal, the jar's making a lot of noise. Hey, it's warm and toasty in here now. We usually have it on about 68, but now we got it on 69. Heck, I'll bump it up to 70. Whoa, big time there. Heck, I'll even go up to 73. Help dry it out. Now, I do have to say this Blue Yeti is great because I hadn't used it in 3 years. As you can see, it's still got 3/4 of the power left after running this fridge a whole day. Pretty good. It also charges up your phone. I charged up my phone and my camera right here. Pretty handy, I gotta say. So we'll take a trip back outside. You can see it almost made it into the house, but me spraying it down kept it from burning. They took off the wainscoting to make sure. Sure, it's a gigantic mess. Other than being a little worse for wear, a little pinker than usual. Last night I couldn't sleep on this side of the face, but it doesn't hurt anymore, so that's okay. Everyone's fine. Some of the tools got melted, some things got destroyed, but no human or animal life was damaged during this fire. Maybe some bugs got burned up, I don't know. We had a few spiders around, they probably got singed. So, I guess I'll have to close up shop now. As you can see, plastic garage doors don't fare too well with heat either. I remember the days I was a kid and they were made out of metal, but everything's plastic these days. But hey, sure, it looks horrible now. Look at the mess. But just like that mythical bird, the phoenix, I shall arise from the ashes and help everybody out with their car problems. Remember, if you got a car problem, just email scottykilmer@gmail.com. That's the only one it's me. It's not fake Scotty. It's not AI Scotty. It's real Scotty. And go to the Scotty Kilmer channel on YouTube. That's where I post videos that only I do. And I'm rising up from the ashes now. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.